Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Momentum Podcast. Today on the show, I have none other than Mr. Ethan Kenny. He had the cheek to tell me that in 40 minutes, he's got to go and eat some carbs. Yes, Ethan Kenny, everyone. He's a personal trainer and someone who I actually know I've worked with in the city of London in the UK. And he's going to give us his take on all things personal training, life, and everything that's going on right now. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's roll the VT and let's get into some conversation with Mr. Ethan Kenny.
Hey.
Yes. At last, the legend that is Ethan Kenny has joined us on the show and is not in the frame. He's gone invisible. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Kenny is the invisible man. Oh, no, there he is. Handsome as ever.
How are you, man?
I'm really good. How are you?
Not too bad. Just fresh out the shower.
Oh, I'm glad to know that you had a shower first for our meeting.
I didn't know what level of intensity it was going to be at, you know. So.
Oh, it's going to be intense, Ethan. This is like the hardest workout of your mind ever.
Where are you? Are you in like your summer house or something? Your outhouse?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's more like a shed, really, in the bottom of the garden, Ethan.
I think we're going to get one of those as well for the gym.
One of what?
Like a shed, so we can put all this. Because if I turn you around here, this is the gym at the moment.
Oh, at your home?
Yeah, in the living room.
Right. Okay. Believe me, it opens up a world of amazing things once you get a shed. When you become that age of a man, that you get a shed and a gym outside, it's a different level, man. You'll never want to be working out in the gym ever again.
I'll start doing like the Rocky, Rocky 3, where he's climbing the mountains.
That's it. I mean, honestly, I haven't trained in a gym for well over 10 years. Yeah, maybe another 20 years down the line, you'll be like fed up of working in gyms and you'll want to get outside more.
I probably will.
You will, I guarantee it. You'll be sick of them because you've got a degree, haven't you?
No. I don't have any degrees. I've got a BTech in art and design.
BTech's the best. Degrees suck.
Yeah, I've heard.
They just make
30 grand in debt and get you in the same position as most people.
Man, they draw out their syllabuses so long, and they don't cover stuff that you really want to do until like right at the end, and it's like so freaking boring. Like, sorry, degree people, but honestly, you do better with 3 years hard work. That's not to say that education isn't good, of course. Of course it is, but yeah, I don't blame you, man. I
thought a couple times about going back and doing like an open university style thing, you know, while you can work while you get a degree or whatnot. But to be honest, at the moment, I don't really think that I need to go into like such higher education like that. But like, because most of the courses that I've been on, people who come out of uni would end up going on those courses anyway. Quite a lot of the people at seminars and stuff that I go to all have like, you know, sports science degrees and things like this.
So it's literally whether or not you just want the letters or the name.
Yeah, it's the piece of paper, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
When you're at that point, when you've kind of established yourself like you, and you know, you've obviously got a good, strong level of knowledge about the subject. Like you kind of just blowing money at that point.
So you get guys that have built up that, like I did. You just built up that level of skill and understanding. You've got a big following and people know who you are. But if people don't know who you are, and you're going to stand up perhaps and talk at a show, and they see so-and-so master's degree in strength and conditioning, or, you know, John Smith, personal trainer, I tell you who they're going to take seriously.
The person with essentially all the coding next to their name. You know, it will say like BN1 and PN1 and like all of these stuff are you know, PhDs and things like this. Is just basically so you can add it to your title to make you seem and maybe be more elite than other people. But
have you worked with any, like, you know, masters qualified strength coaches? And
the place which I worked in Highgate, pretty much everyone apart from myself and I think one other guy had degrees, and like kind of like obviously their knowledge of anatomy and everything is awesome, just as any kind of coach should be as well. It's just like kind of what the main differences which I noticed is that because they were kind of focused on more of like a rehab kind of path, because in Highgate, you know, no offense to anyone who lives in Highgate, but it's quite like a old area. So like the people who would pay for PT there aren't like, you know, 30 years old. They're like at least 60. So like rehab and kind of like trying to fix little niggles and things like that were definitely higher on the priority list rather than like actual strength coaching or transformations or anything like that. Like we had one guy who was working there before I worked there as well. His name was Tony, and he was pretty big into like his transformations. He was like the transformation guy. Like if you wanted to go there and lose weight or whatever, you train with him. He was known as being quite hard. So like people kind of feared having a session with him because he'd leave you in pieces after. But the knowledge difference between like when I first went there and when I left, it was a gap of about 4 years, but I felt like I learned quite a lot off of those guys who had degrees and specialized in rehab and all of that, because the gym which I worked at before, which was in Muswell Hill, again, the clientele there, like all of the members were 60 plus. So it was kind of like it's not like this, but it's the best way which I can describe it to you, is that it was a bit like a retirement home kind of style gym, if that makes sense.
Do you ever wish that you'd done a degree in sports science or in strength and conditioning or anything? Do you think?
I have thought about it before, but then like I said, like as soon as I go on courses or anything like that, I look around me and I see that there's people who have been on courses who are literally doing exactly the same thing as me. So in a sense, I do, because obviously having that social aspect of it as well is always nice. It's nice to meet other coaches, and you know, you'd have that social aspect from it as well. But in terms of education, I think I'd rather save the 35k and put it like in the bank.
Man, I have to say that over the years that I've been doing this, some of the best trainers and therapists I've ever met are the ones that put themselves through specific kinds of training. So you go and learn about this, you go and learn about that, and you put it together to make yourself a really rounded, integrated therapist, rather than just taking what you get from kind of standard education, because it opens up the world to you. You go to America, you can go to Eastern Europe, you go to Australia and learn all these different things. Whereas if you're in kind of one bracket, I don't know. But a lot of people do look for, or they will ask you, you know, what do you do? Or what's your qualification? I think we do that more in this country, maybe, than say America and that. I don't know.
I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got
do tend to find though that in the fitness industry altogether, most of the time the people that are asking for your qualifications don't really know what they're asking about.
Yeah,
they basically just want to know if you've been uni or not. And then if you say, oh, I've done Poliquin Biosigniture, I've done this FMS course, I've done X, Y, Z, they're not really going to know the value behind those courses.
Did you do Poliquin's Biosigniture?
I did it after he separated from his wife, so I got the coaches that were there with him as well. Like Alexandra Bertrand and Larry. I think his name's Larry. He was really cool, the kind of old white-haired fella. But anyway, yeah, I did that a few years ago in the Hilton in central London, just level 1. I actually had to stand up in front of everyone, and she took my body fat. I wasn't particularly lean at the time, so that was a bit nerve-wracking.
All the Biosigniture is about hormones, isn't it? It's how your nutrition affects your hormonal levels. And if I'm right, I'm not an expert on this, but I have, I haven't studied it, but I've looked at it quite a lot. So isn't it that certain points where they test the body for fat using calipers is a kind of measure of different hormones in the body, like cortisol, and is that yeah that's what level 1 teaches. I think it might have changed slightly because of like new research or whatever that's come out, but I think the general point is that, so for example, where most people get confused is that they'll see, like, for example, for a suprailiac measurement, so like the muffin top, the kind of bit that hangs over the belt, over the pelvis,
over the side, and like, so for example, they'll relate that to insulin, but then people might, for example, say, like they'll hear a coach say that and be like, oh, okay, so if I can control my insulin, then that site should go down, whereas that's not quite how it works. Like, you're not just going to sort out insulin and then your muffin top's going to go.
I was going to say, do you really think it's something that's actually poignant for the majority of the weight loss people that you see on a daily basis? Or what do you think? What do you actually think? Does it work?
I mean, it works to a point. Like the 12 sites definitely, I think is obviously going to be more accurate than doing like a 6-site caliper test. But yeah, in terms of the whole endocrinology side of it and the hormonal effects, to be honest, I think to a degree it is true, and to a degree it's not. For example, like, I know for a fact that you can't site specific reduced like spots, the fat spots. Like, if you wanted to lose weight, you're going to lose weight, and the fat's going to come off where it chooses to come off, rather than what supplements or herbs or whatever you're putting in your body. It like isn't going to make it direct because the fat loss from your stomach,
Yeah, right. Because just helping someone lose weight is going to change their hormone profile anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, to a degree. But there are like some fundamentals in the course which I think are pretty good. Like, for example, if someone does have their food and their training bang on, then why not take some high quality supplements? You know what I mean? If you're at the top of your game and you're doing everything that you can, why wouldn't you add that kind of cherry on top?
Ethan Kenny, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Momentum podcast. Ethan, you're a personal trainer and you're a body transformation coach. You work in the heart of London. I've actually worked with Ethan. He does a really, really great job. He's very motivational, very dedicated to his work. He's had a lot of clients he's put through the training systems and lost amazing amounts of weight, so they're seeing their abs again. It's just really, really awesome stuff that you guys do. Is there anything else? Is there anything else I missed out on that?
Don't know. You could probably say that I love to talk about rubbish movies and
good.
and superheroes and things like that.
Do you like
a bit of a nerd?
Do you like zombie movies?
Oh, I fucking love zombie movies.
Yeah, I think we spoke about this once before because I have a big thing about like, yeah, post-apocalyptic zombie movies, anything like that. I see, like during lockdown, seen this stuff coming out of Korea, right?
Yeah, Peninsula.
No, I ain't seen that.
What are you talking about? Train to Busan.
Right, Train to Busan. The first one was amazing. Have you seen the second one?
Second one's called Peninsula.
Oh, that is Peninsula. I watched a load of rubbish. I didn't like it. Didn't like it.
It's basically Fast and Furious meets World War Z, isn't it?
It weren't so good. But there's a Korean film, a Korean series called, I think it's called Kingdom.
Oh yeah. It's Japanese on Netflix.
No, it's Korean.
Is it Korean?
Yeah, unless I've got the name wrong.
No. It's called Kingdom. It's on Netflix.
Then it's called something else.
Because Kingdom and the zombies all like connect together and they hide underneath rocks and stuff during the day.
Yeah, but that is in Korea. It's definitely not in Japan because I know my Japanese. It's Korea.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I must have got confused then. I thought they was.
No, you could. Anyway, you could tell by what they're wearing, like those big hats and stuff like that. That's all the old Korean stuff. But have you seen it? There's 2 series.
I've seen the first series, but I couldn't kind of get back into the second series. But it did look good.
Oh, you didn't rate it. Okay, right. Well, forget that.
Like I watched like the first 3 episodes. I think they realized that the zombies start running during the day or something.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed that series. I like it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But the other one is one I think it's called Our House. Have you seen that?
Is that with the
Our Home?
Not with the guy who he's an immigrant or something, and he's living in a council flat in London. Not that guy.
No. Right.
Well, what's that called?
Hold on. I'm going to show you. Hold on. Right. What I'm going to do is. Hold on, because I've got to show you this, Ethan. I've got to show you this. Let me just share my screen with you, all right? Share screen. Let's go to Google Chrome. Right. I think it's called Our House. Now, Our Home. Well, that ain't going to work.
Just come up with your house.
Yeah. Korean film, Korean series.
I'm always just really surprised about how many people real people they get dressed up as zombies for these shots.
Man, I tell you what, some of the stuff that's coming out of that, no, that's not it. Oh my God. Right, let's look up Korean series, Netflix, right? Right, here we go. There's Kingdom. Can you see that?
They made Designated Survivor in Korean. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the Kingdom.
Right, this one. This is mental. Sweet Home.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix, right? It's not so much. It's kind of zombies, but it's not. It's absolutely crazy. My stepson said some of the graphics ain't that brilliant, but I thought it was amazing.
Did you watch the film that came out during the first lockdown where it was a Korean guy gets locked in his flat or something?
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah. Oh, hello. Oof, what is that?
Mate, it's just a crazy program.
Is it apocalyptic style like that?
Man, it's the end of the freaking world.
Oh my God, what is that? What are those? It's like Korean like bloody Resident Evil or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Gremlin. That looked like a gremlin. This is looking ridiculous. This is looking ridiculous now.
I'll tell you what.
You should watch a show called
Sorry, I just lost you a little bit there. My internet connection gets a little bit unstable.
That's all right. Yeah. So did you watch a show called Black Summer on Netflix?
Yeah, that was really good as well.
That was so good. How it showed the same thing from different angles, like really, really clever.
Yeah, they only done one series. They haven't done the second series, have they?
No, which is a shame because they absolutely rinsed it on that first one.
It was really good. That was another good one. But there's like, watch that one I just showed you, Our House or whatever it is.
Sweet Home.
Yeah, Sweet Home, sorry. It's an age thing, Kenny. Honestly, you get so much in your brain when you're 50 that everything just melds into one. I'm sure it does. But look, it is a bit crazy. But if you take it for what it is, and sometimes these zombie films are a little bit, you're not going to win Oscars for them, put it that way. But they are very, very interesting. Good films. But there's another one. I'll remember it later. What's your favourite zombie film?
It's quite hard, but at the moment, I'd probably say one which is probably quite controversial.
Go on.
World War Z.
Well, I like that.
But most people thought that film was really shit, but I thought it was really good. Yeah. I'm a bit disappointed that it did so bad in the cinema that they're not going to make the sequel.
Really?
Yeah, apparently the book is way better though. Anyway,
I started reading the book but never got through it, to be honest. But I might put it on audiobook.
I was going to say I'm not sure I could read a zombie book. I think that might be a bit much.
Man, I read
another one.
I've got to tell you this. I read right, for anyone who likes zombie genre. I read, it's a guy called R.R. Shit, I can't remember his name. Anyway, there's a zombie genre books called The Undead. There's at least 20 books now. And it happens where the end of the world happens in the UK, and it's basically about a guy who was just working in Tesco's or a shop, and he has to get through it all. What happens to him and the people that he meets, and how he goes on from that to become like this like super zombie killer guy. But I tell you what, it's one of the very few zombie books I've been able to read, and I've gone through all 20 books. It's freaking amazing.
They should turn that into a series then, shouldn't they?
But it is an audio book as well. It's called R.R. Hold on. I'm not going to share the screen. I'm just going to look it up because here we go. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
By R.R. Haywood. R.R. Haywood, The Undead. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The guy is a zombie genius.
So what style of zombies do you prefer? Because, like recently we've gone away from the ones that kind of dig themselves out of their graves. And we've gone into more of like the infectious kind of like deadly virus or whatever it is.
Well, the thing is, like, if you watch like The Walking Dead or something, it's so freaking slow, isn't it? I mean, I still like it. I still watch it. I mean, like, I've watched, I don't know how many series, 10 series of it now. And I still, because I'm so encapsulated by all the different characters and their journeys, but you can't get away from the sheer terror and panic of something like World War Z, where these people turn in like minutes and then they're after you and there's blood dripping out of them and you are just moving.
I think it's 12 seconds or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah, because there's that the best scene is at the beginning of that film when when it all kicks off in like Pennsylvania or something.
And he's in the car.
Yeah. And he's watching that guy. He picks up his kid's toy and it starts counting. And then while the toy is counting, he's watching this guy absolutely going nuts on the floor, starting to just turn into infected. That was a great scene.
Man, I love that film. I really do.
The film which I was going to tell you about before though was it's a Spanish film called Rec. So REC. So it's like like if you're holding a handheld camcorder, it says Rec in the top corner for recording.
Oh yeah.
And there's 3 of them, and they all start straight after the end of the other one. So if you watched all 3 of them in a row, you'd have about 6 hours worth of like zombie stuff to watch, and it would seem like one long story.
Where did you get? Where did you watch that?
Oh,
no, is it like?
I think I streamed it online like 10 years ago or something.
You can't get it on like Netflix or anything then.
I doubt it. You could probably find it on Amazon Prime, but you might have to rent it or something.
I've got Amazon.
I'm not 100% sure. Amazon Prime's got everything, but it's just that not everything is free.
No, Amazon Prime is the best for these B-rated zombie films. There's like tons of them on there. There's literally
it's got loads of those like shit UK gangster movies as well.
Well, you've got Cockneys and Zombies. That's a good film.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that was quite jokes. That was laughable though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's you got like there's another one. Remember Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah.
Well, in Cuba, they've got Juan of the Dead. Right? And it's brilliant. It's such a I mean, it is obviously more of like the comedy type, but an half good. Juan of the Dead, like J-U-A, you know, Juan. But it's really funny. But it's really well done. I don't know where you, yeah.
There was 2 other films that were just as bad as that. There was like one again about 10 years ago. It's called Oz Zombie, and it was basically Osama bin Laden comes back as a zombie, and the slogan on the thing was like, "They buried him at sea, but that wasn't enough," or something like that. And then I saw one last year called Corona Zombies.
Corona
Zombies, yeah.
Oh my
God. So someone's tried to capitalize on the pandemic and made a zombie movie about it.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say that all the zombie genres, you know, and everything about that post-apocalyptic thing that we've been seeing for the last kind of 50 years is because the people in the know are trying to warn us that it's all coming to a horrible end.
In a sense, it would kind of be easier if it was a zombie apocalypse rather than a pandemic kind of like illness thing. You'd be able to be like, oh, that guy's infected, let's not go near that person. Well, rather than everything else, you know.
I've been waiting to use my crossbow for 20 odd years.
I've got a samurai sword as well.
Yeah, so I've got 5, but
woo!
I used to do all that, didn't I? I used to do all the samurai sword stuff.
Mine's more of like a souvenir style thing from I got it from the Samurai Museum in Tokyo.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like there was a samurai back in the day called Ryama Sakamoto. And he basically helped like train up these like villagers to basically take down the shogun at the time. Yep. So he trained all of these like villagers how to use swords and stuff, which was pretty cool.
You ever done martial arts, Ethan?
I did karate while I was growing up, but I think that was I got a bit bored of it because it was like they teach you a routine, and then it's a bit like, because I did like when I was growing up, I went to drama school and stuff, so I did like street dance and like all of these other things, and I found it the same. Yeah. I found that karate especially, like I was always more interested in like things like Muay Thai and kind of things that were a bit more aggressive, but the karate is like, if you learn that sequence of moves and you do it perfectly, then boom, you've got the belt up. You don't really need, in my opinion, much skill. You just need to be able, obviously there's like karate masters out there, right? But yeah, man. But like as a kid, as like a bloody 8-year-old kid going into a karate lesson, like I just found it a little bit boring. It was like, okay, this is the white belt sequence. Cool, did that, got the belt. I actually found the card the other day. I was like 3 belts away from becoming a black belt, which then like even now it's like, okay, cool.
So you're saying it's like it's a bit robotic?
Yeah, when you're a kid anyway. I think you probably, if you have a genuine interest in it and you do it as an adult, then it'll be more interesting. But like I did a Muay Thai lesson about 4 years ago, and I really enjoyed that. It's just that I just don't have the time. Well, I would have the time now if we were allowed to, but you know what hours that I used to work.
I did a style of karate back in the day called Kyokushin or Kyokushinkai, and it was hard style, full contact, knockdown karate, and it's basically what led up to the K1 fighting, and then which led up into Pride is it? Yeah, Pride fighting, and into UFC and stuff like that. That's how it kind of got kicked off, and when we learned katas and stuff, that was one side of the karate. And yeah, you're right. It's very regimented, but it's good for kind of discipline, getting young people to understand their bodies, what they're capable of. But man, when you start moving into the fighting arena, that's just a different world. That's a completely different world. They're savages. Some of them.
K1 was nuts as well, man. Like they'd have stupid who was that Russian guy, Ilmenyenko? Is it Ivan Ilmenyenko or something? This dude would literally he would get dropped on his head about 20 times and basically just wait for his opponent to be tired. And then you ever seen that episode of Simpsons where Homer just takes loads of beats and he like flicks the person to knock them out?
Oh right.
That's literally this guy's like the human embodiment of that. Like he'd literally get thrown around the ring for the whole match, and then just hit the guy like that, and he'd fall over.
Well,
I'm talking about like full like suplex, like absolutely dropping this guy on his neck and stuff, and he'll just get up straight away.
That's like, do you like the WWE?
The only time when I would watch it is if I went around to my cousin's house, because he used to he had all the toys and games and everything. Yeah. I never sure, I enjoyed watching it when I was there, but like when I came home, I would never be like, yeah, let's put that on. No.
I mean, just through the sheer, kind of admiration of what the guys put there, because everyone knows that most of it's acting. It is an act, but you still have to put your kind of life on the line in some instances to be able to perform like that, didn't you? I mean, it's absolutely. When I did Aikido, we had you were kind of choreographing sequences of fighting, and I tell you, when you're choreographing fighting, it's freaking hard work, and you get bloody hurt as well. And to do that for like the Undertaker done it for, what's it, like 30 years or something like that? It's that's a lot to put your body through, isn't it? A lot.
Yeah, he's got to be one of him and Vince McMahon or whatever have got to be the longest standing members of that, right?
Maybe Ric Flair as well. I think he's probably longer, Ric Flair.
Oh, that's the woo! That's like when you get off a bench press and you nearly died on it. Woo!
Do you rate the bench press?
Well, as a movement,
as an exercise, yeah.
Yeah, I prefer a dumbbell press, but yeah, bench press has its place,
I don't like it.
You don't like it specific to you, or just in general for most people?
No, I don't like it myself. I think I find it very, very boring. Just laying on my back, pushing weights up and down. That's not to say it ain't a good thing. I try to think of the carryover for it, and I guess the carryover is you pushing someone off of you when you're on your back. I guess that's the carryover, isn't it, for a bench press? Like the real world. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But you could argue that basically any like forward pushing movement you could use it for. So even if you were on your front and someone else was on your back, you'd be able to push them off. You know what I mean? If you were on your front, basically if you did a push-up movement and you had to get something off your back, or if you fell over and you were trying to stop smashing your face before you hit the floor, like little things like that. But I mean, I don't think that's the reason why people do bench press, though.
People do bench press to get big chests, right?
Yeah,
and maybe shoulders as well, maybe.
And probably to say that they can bench press 2 or 3 plates or whatever.
2 or 3 plates, yeah. It's that's still quite a big thing, is it? I mean, I'm a lot older than you. You're in your 20s. I'm in my 50s. Is there still a lot of young fellas that just want that big chest and they're always banging on about how much they can bench press, or is it?
I mean, I like none of my kind of like closest mates are really into the gym that much. So
yeah,
I can't really comment too much. I know that like the people that like I used to hang around with, like Jordan and Adam and stuff like that, like they might do bench press, they might not. Like they do probably machines, but again, you know, with those guys, the biggest lifts were like on their leg days. You would definitely still get, I reckon, young people who would be like egotistical and just do like I used to go to the gym with one of my mates when I was like 16, and he would literally just only ever do bench press and bicep curls and like shoulder press and things like that.
Really?
Never did like legs or anything.
Well, what I see, like,
yeah, talking to my mirror like I love you so much, curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a I don't care. Did the by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, all them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting, I hear them bragging about that they did and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you on my spot at the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about old. I'm on that.
See, like, if I go back 30 odd years, 30 years, that's what we would be doing in the gym is what Dorian Yates and people like that did, because that's all we knew. And we know now that that was pretty much a waste of time unless you was going to be a bodybuilder, of course. A lot of it we were just, it wasn't structured very well. You were just following magazines and superstars, really. Because there were no trainers or anything at that time, no personal trainers. So
it was just Flex magazine, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Flex and Muscle Mag and what's the really big one?
Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding was probably a big one.
What was
as well, right?
Who was Arnold Schwarzenegger's mentor? The top guy, Weider? Was it
Joe Weider?
Joe Weider. So he had a book, didn't he? Well, I think that was called Muscle and Fitness. I'm not sure. That was another.
I've got probably one his book here. I think that's the complete bodybuilding guide and things like that.
Oh, he's a legend, really. Don't hear about Weider much anymore, but like the things that he did in the industry to really for people like Arnold and Franco Column, well, all of them really, and bringing them. I mean, you like your bodybuilding, didn't you, Ethan? You like?
Yeah, it's big. It's basically the reason why I'm in the industry. Even though I'm not like the biggest guy on the planet, but I'm working on it, you know.
Well, you know, that's where I started. I started in bodybuilding, and that was the thing that I was absolutely obsessed with for a while. But you know, things change over the years. But where I started off and where you are now, or people slightly younger than you, there's a lot more now for people to understand and see. Like there's kettlebell training, there's proper strength and conditioning, there's the power element, you know, the snatches, the cleans. A lot of people are into weightlifting as opposed to bodybuilding. So do you think that there's a equal spread of people, younger people now, wanting to go into more different sports, or do you still think it's predominantly people are thinking bodybuilding? I want to I want to build my body like a bodybuilder. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, I think there are quite a lot of young people, you know, they aspire to be natural bodybuilders, right? And then, for example, like the people that are, in my opinion, like the most popular in that scene in the UK aren't necessarily natural. Not that that should take away from the work or effort or regimented lifestyle that they live. It's just that, for example, if you've got someone who can recover much better than everyone, can build muscle a lot better than everyone, but it's still prepping all the food, doing all the training, like doing everything really, really smart. I don't think that they should be selling the dream to someone who might not want to take clenbuterol or some type of testosterone or insulin, or like, you know, they would just rather eat food. They basically have the first part of that person's lifestyle without the gear use.
What's your opinion of steroids? What's your take on it? Performance enhancement.
Use them if you want to use them. Just don't lie about it. That's the only thing. You know, like the absolute classic is Mike O'Hearn, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, Mike O'Hearn used to be on Gladiators in the 80s, I think. Or the 90s.
What part did he? Who was he? What actor? I mean,
no, not the film, the TV show.
Well, I remember Gladiators. I can't say as I remember Mike O'Hearn, but did he have a stage name like Gladiator or something?
Titan, I think.
Okay, yeah, I know. I remember him. Yeah.
He was fucking massive. Like, honestly, this guy was massive.
So was Shadow.
Shadow, was that the black dude?
Yeah, he was the black dude with the bald head.
Yeah,
and Hunter as well. He was the biggest.
I remember Shadow, like whenever he was going up against someone, especially like the hanging stuff.
Yeah.
He'd absolutely killed. Just leg press their face into oblivion. Like,
right.
No problem. I'll show you what this guy looks like.
Saracen as well. He was another one. I met him in Soho once. Saracen. Yeah, he was a black guy with dreadlocks. Had a bit of a list.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, good guy. He was.
I probably remember him. He was cool, was he?
Yeah, he was. So he was a really nice guy. Yeah.
This guy claims natural all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit like, so this is him when he was younger.
Yeah.
It's like the guy on the left looks natural, but like this guy is like that all year round.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
And he's like in his 50s or something like that.
Yeah,
he's an old man who's bench pressing 4 plates on each side for like 15 reps. Yeah. And then walking around looking like that, and then saying I'm natural. That's when it kind of annoys me. But if you want to be a successful competitive bodybuilder, in my opinion, if you want to be like world renowned, like known by everyone, you're gonna have to take gear.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about, like, they appreciate the naturals.
Yeah.
The people that enter the national federations, but they're nowhere near as talked about as anyone. Basically, the Olympia is like the golden stage for everyone, isn't it?
God, yeah.
That's like
absolutely.
if you've made it to the Olympia, you're a pretty good pro bodybuilder, right?
But
then when I was growing up, I was ignorant enough to say, like, yeah, one day I'm gonna look like Arnie.
Yes,
like,
me too.
I'll just train really hard and I'll eat loads and like do all of this. Not to say that it's like impossible, because someone with like sick genetics and a real determination could do it. But
I think
like any Joe off the block like me with my bloody Irish genetics, I ain't gonna ever look like that. You know what I mean? I'll be looking like the farmer for the rest of my life. But
I
don't mind that. I don't mind that.
Well, things have changed when your metabolism changes when you get older. Believe me, things change. They really do.
I look forward to it.
Not for everyone, but things change. They do. Every decade, or even every 5 years, you've got a different level of training and weight loss or nutrition that you have to do things. You have to change things. You can't maintain. Very rarely. There's always going to be someone who does the same thing all their life, but it's very rare. You have to change things up. And what was I going to say to you, Ethan? I was going to ask you about, we were talking about the the steroid use, weren't we? Use and abuse. Do you think it's still a big thing for ordinary guys in the UK now, or around the world? Do you think a lot of guys are still, going to the gym and being there for a year, doing a few bench presses and squats, and then someone, sells them some gear? Do you think it's still a big thing out there?
Yeah. I reckon you just have to go to the right places. I don't think that you're gonna find someone trying to shift gear to members in like Pure Gym or something like that. But then if you went to like any of the kind of like rusty plated bodybuilding gyms, you definitely would find a few. And whether some of the coaches and things like that, like I've heard rumors that like even some of the top transformation gyms in the UK at least used to offer gear to their clients. So like, you'd see like the most popular worldwide transformation company in the world, right? And they'd have these insane 12-week transformations. But then I found, like, I spoke to someone, well, a few people that used to work there, and then they would say like, we just give them a dose of this and a dose of that, and it goes back to my point before, like, use gear if you want to use gear, whatever, like, that's fine, that's your choice. Everyone should be able to live their life how they choose to. Just one, don't let it affect other people, and two, don't lie about it.
I mean, it's a good point. I mean, you have to go back. So when I started, like years after I've been in training, I started looking at old time strongman training, Eugene Sandow and Arthur Saxon, and all these guys, right? And when you read their books, they are as poignant today as they were back in the early 1900s, even late 1800s. It's surprising what they're writing in for the times. And when you look at their physiques and their strength and what they did, like anybody listen to this who doesn't understand about these people, you should go and read it, because it was all pre steroid use. It was pre that 1950s, 1960s. But even if you go back to like Arnold Schwarzenegger's his mentor was Reg Park, who made the 5-5 style of training very famous, 5 sets, 5 reps. And if you look at Reg Park, I mean, back in the kind of 50s and that, I mean, he had an awesome physique, absolutely amazing. Vince Gironda as well. These are like kings of the time that actually taught the younger guys like the Schwarzeneggers and that come through. But what
Steve Reeves as well, right?
It's absolutely 100. Actually, Steve Reeves. Now, I could be wrong here. Was it Reg Park taught Steve Reeves, who influenced Arnold Schwarzenegger, or was it Steve Reeves who influenced Reg Park and then Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I think the latter. Yeah.
I can't remember. But from when Arnold. Now, I know an old time bodybuilder used to come and see me, right? And he appeared on stage with the likes of Arnold and those guys, had him in his phone, and he was genuine, 100%. Looked this guy up. I'm not going to say who it was, but he told me some amazing stories. And he was in his 60s, and he was so beat up. He would literally come to my room with a walking stick, crying. Literally, this man was crying. And back in the day, he was one of the fittest people you could ever imagine on the planet. Absolutely amazing.
Well, did he do a Ronnie Coleman or something and burst his spine open? Or
basically he kind of went that kind of way. It was his spine. His spine was absolutely knackered. And through our conversations that we had, he told me a lot of stuff. And he said to me, man, it wasn't the drugs we were taking. It was just the sheer volume of hard work that we did for so long, so many repetitions, busted up our bodies. And because I said to him, was it the steroids? He said, yeah, look, we took them, but it wasn't even a touch on what they're taking now.
No.
And when
in dosages,
it's nothing. Yeah. It was nothing. It was still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but compared to what the guy is doing nowadays, I mean, who's the guy who just won Mr. Olympia last year?
What, Big Ramy?
Ramy. Is that the first time he won it?
That's the first time he's won it, yeah.
Yeah. So I saw.
Yeah. You had, but that's why they've had to introduce things like classic physique back into it, right? Because you like Dorian made way for those absolute monsters to. It essentially became like a bit of like a freak show. Do you know what I mean? Like it kind of went away from like the kind of golden era, which everyone talks about, where everyone looks like Greek statues, to like everyone just looking like their He-Man figure that they had when they were growing up. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But then Chris Bumstead, don't know if you know who that is. So he won the classic physique for the last 2 years. That guy's physique is like on a whole other level. Like, so this guy is like, what? I think he's like 2 years older than me or something. And this guy is in insane condition.
Is he a natural physique athlete or? No.
It's Olympia classic physique winner.
Okay.
So this is him.
Yeah.
But you see, like that is so much smaller than that Big Ramy. I think there's a video on this guy's thing of him and Big Ramy meeting each other.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find that, because it's actually quite good.
Okay. Do you like that kind of physique?
Well, the classic physique.
Well, just that guy standing there. Would you like a physique like that?
I wouldn't want to walk around all year at like 2% body fat.
No.
But neither does he. You know, he gets a little bit fluffier and things like this. But the short answer is yes. I wouldn't mind being that size. Yeah. But I've been a skinny kid my whole life, so it's
yeah. I saw your first Instagram post. I was looking at it yesterday. Do you know what your first Instagram post is?
Probably food or something.
No. It's you comparing you to you when you was younger.
Oh yeah.
And there's this picture of you as this skinny, gawky, tall kid, and then you has done some working out.
I'm wearing like some awful sunglasses, which didn't help the photo either as well.
Brilliant. It's brilliant first post, man. What's your take on what's going on at the moment for trainers and that, and the gym world, because of the virus problems we've had? Does that hit you hard?
I mean, only in the sense that I basically can't work during this time. You know, like I done like I did like an Instagram live the other day's workout leg session, which you know, kept me busy for an hour. But then after that, it's a bit like, you know, because my girlfriend works in a preschool, so she goes to work every morning. She's out the house by 8:10, and then I kind of roll out of bed at like 8:15. Get up, have breakfast, train, and then basically just try and fill up my day doing something. Like
talking to people like me.
Yeah, talking to you. You know, I'm doing the precision nutrition course.
Oh yeah, I did that. John Berardi, Steve Berardi, something like that. Yeah.
John,
John Berardi, yeah. Yeah, it's good that. I really enjoyed that course.
Yeah, it's really simple as well. Like they just lay it out like really kind of easy to follow, and it's got a structured curriculum and things.
They have quite a lot of intake questionnaire, don't they?
Yeah. Like
tons of it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm adjusting things around as I'm talking to you.
That's all right. You got to get yourself comfortable as well. I'm just sitting on the floor.
That's all right, man. Doesn't matter.
I've got you on the stool.
Any port in a storm, innit, really. We're not Joe Rogan at the moment, are we? We're just we ain't got all the fancy gear, but
not yet.
Do you think that you think of all those clients out there that are not getting PT trained. Do you do any work online? Do you like any online training and stuff for clients? Or
I mean, like for the people that work at the gym that I work at, like last lockdown, I sent them some body weight exercises and things to do at home.
Yeah.
Other than that, like it goes against the contract which I'm in. So
how do you survive?
Basically,
how do you survive? Like honestly, you've got no money coming in.
No, because we're employed, so we're on the furlough.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So obviously you're getting like 80% of your wage, but still, like, if I was self-employed, I'd be in the gutter, really.
Yeah.
It'd definitely be a lot harder. So it kind of makes me thankful that I am employed. But yeah, to answer your question, no, I can't do any online stuff. But hopefully, soon at the gym that I work at, maybe it might happen. Who knows?
Well, we'll see. How did you? Change the subject. How did you get into personal training originally, then, Ethan? What was it that kind of drew you into this world of training? Because a lot of people they think it's a hobby, so they want to do it as a job, and then they quickly realize it's not quite what they thought it was going to be. But you've been doing it a little while now. So how did you get into it?
So I pretty much started off doing art and design. What we spoke about earlier, the BTEC in art and design.
Yeah.
And I did, and I did that, and then I was going to do basically before you go to like an art uni, you do a foundation year before you go off to uni. And I basically I went like on tour, like went to all the unis, looked at all the animation degrees and suites and different things that they had at each uni. But I basically would get in trouble quite a lot in art for, like, if they wanted an abstract photo of like a skull and an apple, I would draw like the skull with like a massive serpent tongue coming out, and then like the apple looking like really scared at the end of its tongue and things like that. So like they didn't really like that, like that kind of creative, I know, right? That creativeness and kind of randomness, and it wasn't what they were asking for, but it was my own style. So, but I basically just kept getting told that things were wrong, and I really enjoyed drawing like comic book characters and things like that. Since I was a young boy, I'd read Marvel and DC and Spawn and all of these other comics. Yeah. So by the time that I got to art, I wanted to draw like that. And obviously in those drawings, you have everyone who's basically in their peak shape, right? Superheroes are always in shape. And where that kind of the superhero kind of thing obviously transferred into like films and TV and things like that as well. And then the only people back then that would ever play superheroes were bodybuilders. So you'd have Lou Ferrigno as the Hulk. Yeah. You'd have Arnie as Conan, which is like just another version of a superhero, basically. And like even back in the day, like Christopher Reeves as Superman and things like that. Like, you look at him now, and he looks like your dad going surfing or something. But it's like back then he was in pretty good nick. Like, poor guy. And
he's dead now. Isn't he? He's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead. Yeah.
He had that terrible accident, didn't he, where he became quadriplegic? Yeah.
Yeah, he could only move his head, I think.
We had Steve Austin as well when we were younger. He was the $6 million man. You ever seen that?
What, the wrestler?
No.
Steve Austin, he'd crack the two beers together and be like...
No, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right?
And that's the bottom line.
Because I said so, something like that, yeah. Yeah, he used to stand on the corner of the ring and go like that, didn't he? He used to do his beers, his Budweisers,
crack them together and chug them down. Man, there's a great prank online called Stone Cold ET, and basically this guy dresses up as ET and goes through a drive-through and orders the food in the voice of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Did he get it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he rinsed it. But all of that transferred into bodybuilding, and then from bodybuilding, I basically quit art because I was like, well, if if the teachers are basically going to continuously tell me that I'm wrong, then I'm going to quit and do something that I love, which at the time I was going to the gym loads to try and become this like bodybuilder or to build myself up, you could say. And then just basically it kind of developed from there when I was 15 and I dropped out of college. I basically had like a year where I was floating around. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was just going to the gym loads, reading loads of comics, learning more about training because I was getting into it myself and buying Flex magazine and things like this.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, someone who used to go to my school told me that they were going to go on an apprenticeship scheme where they do level 2 over a period of like, I think it's 5 months. And then you have to work in a gym for 6 months. And then after that, the kind of total of 9 months has passed, you get your level 2. And then you have to work in a gym for a year while studying with someone who comes to the gym every week for another 6 months in order to get your level 3. And it was all government funded. So when my friend kind of put that forward to me, I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So that's what I did. So I basically had to work in the industry for like, near enough a year and a half to get the qualifications while I was studying to do all of that.
Well, that's a good idea. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah, but they should do it like that rather than these like weekend courses that people go on now.
Yeah, I mean, someone just does a 6-week course or 8-week course or whatever and doesn't get that actual... I mean, I've always been a big believer that if someone does a personal training course, you should go and work and shadow somebody in a gym for a year.
Yeah. And then there was a lot of like knowledgeable people there as well. But this was the place where people were paying like £100 a month to go there. So it was kind of like a bit of like a luck struck that I managed to land a job there, because we were sent out by ourselves after the learning to go and get a job in the gym. And literally everywhere, my local leisure centre, which is the council run, said no. Virgin said no. What was no one thing? LA Fitness said no as well. Like all of this. So they basically just didn't want any newbies. And my dad at the time was doing like knee rehabilitation with someone in this gym, and basically spoke to the manager and said, "Look, do you reckon my son could come and work for you?"
That's
so
good,
you do like 300, like what was
300
it?
hours.
Yeah, 300 hours a month, and you get 100. No, wait, what was it? No, that's it. It was 120 hours a month.
Yeah.
For £300.
Okay. That's
because obviously you're learning while you're doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You're getting paid to learn.
Yeah, but obviously you still have to like scrub down sweaty gym kit and like do the kind of nasty bits, go up and down the stairs with toilet roll and things like this. But
clean the treadmills.
Yeah, exactly. It's all part of the learning curve, man.
I've done all that. Yeah, I've done all that. Plenty of time.
Just to give you a heads up as well. I've only got 15 minutes left.
That's all right. We're going to finish in 5 minutes anyway, because I am busting for the loo.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Right. A couple of quick questions then, Ethan.
Fire them at me, man.
Do you have a personal trainer?
I don't have a personal trainer, but I have a coach.
You have a coach. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah. Funny enough, one of the guys who I worked with in that gym, so I worked there for a total of 5 years after my qualifications, but literally since day one, he was there.
So I think that's always a good attribute if somebody has personal trainer was probably the wrong word, but a coach. Once you get to a certain level, you don't need a personal trainer anymore. You need someone just to keep you guided in the right direction, which is more
accountable. Yeah.
It does. Keeping yourself accountable is actually, it's very good. I mean, I've gone years without a trainer, actually. Yeah. And I've got one again now, and he's making me accountable for all the stuff that I haven't done for the last 5 years or so. It's surprising how out of shape you get, man. I'll tell you. What do you rate as a good attribute or a couple of good attributes for a new personal trainer to have? to get clients, to keep clients, what do you advise somebody to concentrate on in regards to them being able to sustain a life as a personal trainer?
I'd say apart from kind of like the obvious things of, you know, continuously trying to improve your knowledge.
Yeah.
I'd also say being truthful and empathetic.
Okay.
Are two quite a lot, because what they don't kind of teach you in your personal training courses is that you'll be like, not every single client, but you'll be a few of your clients, like therapists, essentially. Well, not even like therapists, but you'll be the person that they unload onto, or that they tell you about their issues or their positives or whatever going on in your life. And you have to be able to kind of be understanding of that if it's getting in the way of their fitness goals, especially. But then also truthful about your opinion towards that.
How important do you think it is for a trainer in an environment with lots of other trainers be somebody that can build rapport with his work colleagues?
Sorry, say that again.
So you get a job at a gym, you're a personal trainer, and you either go it alone and keep yourself shut off with your clients, or you mix in with all the other guys there and, you know, open up your personality a little bit. Do you think it's better just to get your head down and carry on working, or do you think it's better to engage with other trainers?
It's definitely better to engage with other trainers. You want to build a team. Even if you're working in like a place where you're all self-employed, you're all working in the same place, so you've all got to like respect each other and, you know, realize that I mean, that's kind of like one thing which the industry is like pretty guilty of, is that quite a lot of people think that basically every other coach is out to steal all their clients.
Yeah.
And for example, they won't ever do like collaborations or you know, even talk, or like, you know, there's some, like, you know me in the gym, I like to pretty much talk to everyone. Like if someone's working hard, I'll be like, go on, you like keep killing it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then like some other coaches might, like I've witnessed it before, like they kind of are a bit like, oh, okay, stop talking to my client now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know if they feel threatened or like anything like that, but it's never gonna, like for me anyway, it's never gonna be like that. Like the reason I'm taking your clients.
Yeah. The reason I asked you that question is I've worked in the same gym as you, and you're a very likable. You've got a good persona, and you get to know everybody. Where and I'm looking at this as from the therapist's point of view, not as one of the trainers. So I see it from a slightly different perspective, and I quite often find that a lot of the guys that are friendly and open and talk and open up their personalities, they tend to be more of a go-to person. They tend to be more someone who's going to be there working longer. They just bring a different vibe, as opposed to people who just keep quiet and don't say anything. When people are like that, they just shut themselves off, and you just seem to find, I mean, not everybody's got the personality, right, to be able to express themselves and come out of the shell. But I think in this type of environment, if you're working in a gym with lots of other trainers and lots of people, it's really important to open up your personality. It really, really is. I've seen so many young people coming through, and man, I've not even spoken to some of them. And you just think, wow, guys, you know, you need to lighten up a little bit.
Yeah. Like when I first joined, you know, where we both worked together, like there were like two. It was like one coach and someone that you also worked with, who were a little bit like, I don't know if it was because of how everything was laid out before I came around, but it's like you'd say like good morning and you wouldn't even get a response.
Yeah.
Like literally, you'd be like the only two people in a hallway. And like if you imagine this is them, oh, morning, mate, and they'd be like that. they just keep going past. But
I never understand it. I never get why people do.
All of that kind of changed. All of that changed. Like, you know, you got the those people kind of started to open up their shows a little bit, kind of like ask you, how are you? And you're kind of like a little bit taken back by it at first, but then you realize, okay, they're putting in an effort to try and be a bit more friendly, essentially.
Yeah, I think, I there's definitely, again, for people who are, going to be going into a gym environment soon or starting to work on it, because what's happening now, I feel, is that a lot of trainers are now becoming, they're working on their own. And a lot of them, I've done it for years. I'm perfectly used to working that way, and I can do it really well. But a lot of the younger guys are more used to working in a team environment. They're passing information between each other, and like, for fuck's sake, you're young and you want to have a bit of fun, right? And now you go it alone. You're doing Zoom calls, training clients on, like this, and it can be a very, very, very lonely place. So if you get back in the gym, freaking make friends with everybody, literally.
But it goes back to that team environment, though, doesn't it? Because you can't really, in my opinion, have a successful coaching team if none of them talk to each other, because they're not bouncing off of each other. There's no vibes. There's no educating each other. There's no stimulating thoughts about exercise and anatomy, and why? How come you're doing an arc row instead of a normal bent over row? Why have you done that? Why are you rowing to the hip instead of the shoulder? Things like that.
Well, the one good thing that we've done today is not talk a lot about actual technical training. We haven't got time to talk about technical training now, but it was a good chance to just find out who you are, what you do, and your take on zombies and, bodybuilding stuff, which is really cool.
I found that video as well of C-Bum. So look, I love this video. So look, basically he's getting tanned by this lady. And Big Rami's looking at him, and he's just like, "Fuck, that guy is massive." So there's Chris Bumstead, and look, there's Rami, and he's like, "Oh,
my God!"
His face is like, "Oh shit, that guy's massive."
Wow.
But that shows you the difference, right? Because that Rami guy's huge, and then when you look at Chris, who in the other picture looked huge as well,
he did,
makes him look tiny.
It's small. It's crazy,
yeah.
Isn't it? It's crazy. I just hope that these people, I do look, I know bodybuilders, and in my opinion, the majority that I know have had a lot of issues about the way they, psychological problems about the way that they used to look. They've been bullied, and they get into this kind of then persona of wanting to make themselves something more than they are, and they, I guess it's like the skinny fat person as well. You see something different in the mirror, and you're never happy until someone wants to lose all the weight, or they want to put on weight, and it just goes too far. In my opinion, there's a lot going on up here, and I just want these people to try and keep safe as well, because you've got a life to live after bodybuilding and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. What I'm definitely guilty of doing this as well, is that most people don't give themselves enough time to do this stuff. So like I said to myself when I was growing up, when I'm 30, I'm going to be 100 kilos and 10% body fat. And it's like, obviously when you learn about like science, it's not going to happen unless I'm literally on the gear, and I've been bodybuilding every single day, regimented since I was 12. You know what I mean? And even then it might not happen.
Well, I'm in my 50s and I'm still learning every single day. I'm still humbled by the amount of stuff I learn from people that have just come into the business, or just online. You just learn stuff. There's so much to learn about the body, let alone the brain. You can never learn it. In 10 lifetimes, you probably can't learn it. So there is no rush.
And anyone who thinks that they can't learn anymore, they will be standard corrected all the time.
And this is why I go all the way back to that start of our conversation, where people who have done a degree may get into the mindset that they are something more than someone that hasn't done a degree, even though that other person may have a lifetime worth of training, reading, knowledge. Man, you should be very humble about everyone you meet until you can understand what they can actually talk about.
I was actually the only person on the Biosigniture hormone course who didn't have a degree, and who also wasn't like Swedish. About 50 of them were all Swedish.
Wow. They have good education in Sweden as well. Like a lot of those Scandinavian countries, they have some really good. Anyway, look, we're going to call to an end, Ethan, our little discussion. Maybe we'll do it again sometime, buddy. Like, it's really, really good to see you. I think a lot of you, man. I think you're a really great guy. You're doing great stuff in the training world. Keep on doing it. Do you think you'd be doing it? Do you think you'd be doing it for the rest of your life?
Oh yeah, for sure. Even if, you know, my life goes tits up and I have to do a job that I don't necessarily want to do, I'll still be doing all of this on the side. Exactly.
You're in it for a lifetime. You can tell the people that are going to be in it for a lifetime. You just can. But that's it, buddy. Thanks for joining me. Yeah. I'll let you go now. I hope the lockdown and that doesn't affect you anymore too much, and you get back out and start training, and we'll meet up for a beer sometime maybe. Yeah, please, man. I don't drink. Like, I physically can't drink, but I'll come with you for a beer. To be honest, I don't really drink too much now. I've got a little. No, I don't. I've got a little bit of insulin sensitivity going on, and like drinking just wrecks me. So I'm off of it. Okay, well, maybe we'll go for some steak or something instead, then, eh? That sounds perfect. Steak it is. Give me one of them, brother. All right. Take care, man. Look after yourself. All right? Yeah, man. You too. Thanks for having me on. Yeah. Take care, bud. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye. Thanks, Ethan, for coming on to the show. It was really great talking to you. Stay safe. And guys, if you saw some value in the show, please like, share, subscribe, you know, leave us a message down below. Please support the show. My name's Neil Meekins. I call this the Momentum Podcast. It's all about keeping things moving forward with strength. Okay, guys, and that's something we all need right now. Stay strong, be tireless, look after each other, but most of all, take care of yourself. Take care, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye.